Hello guys, welcome back. It's time for an honest talk, which is the part where I review games and tell you what I liked and didn't like in my subjective opinion. An honest, hopefully, as honest as I can be, subjective opinion about the games that I'm playing and I'm showing you on my channel. And today, Twilight Inscription is getting its turn. So, before we dive into the positive and the negative, or the good and not so good, as I call them here in this video, sides of the game, I would just like to remind you that if you would like to support what I do, if you like what I do here on the channel, there is the like button, there is the subscribe, there is the notification bell that you can ring to help the channel grow and reach more and more people. And you can also leave your opinion in the comments, or any questions or any suggestions regarding the game and what I'm doing here and what I'm talking about. And right now, let's dive into the good aspects of Twilight Inscription, according to me, Lone Vic. Okay guys, so Twilight Inscription is a roll and write game of epic intergalactic proportions. It's the younger brother of Twilight Imperium. I know that a lot of you have heard of this gigantic 4X strategy game for Fantasy Flight Games. It's been on the market for many years right now. It's a solid brand and it's revered by many, and yours truly as well. I also enjoy it pretty much, and I enjoy it a lot, to be honest. Pretty much is too weak of a word. And now Fantasy Flight Games came out with a roll and write variant of this game. But is it really a variant of Twilight Imperium? I think that this game is an entity of its own. It shares the same universe, it shares the same 4X concept, but it's its own animal. I wouldn't compare it even to Hadrian's Wall, as a lot of people right now are doing it, because Hadrian's Wall is probably another writing game that's also a very heavyweight and very kind of strategy, dependency and tactic heavy. The Twilight Inscription is its own animal and it knows what it's doing. It came out to the market and it exactly knew where it wants to be, what it wants to be, and how it wants to do it. Did it do it perfectly? We'll see in the not so good section, but for now let's talk about the good. Number one, the setup and the explanation of the rules, however complicated the game seems to be, are very easy. The setup is brisk. There are 3 decks of cards that you need to manage. There are 4 types of sheets and each player gets 1. There is a marker and there is a main sheet that you need to put in the middle of the table. Boom, you're done. Same for the teardown, aside from the wiping off of all the boards, because each of those boards is a dry erase one, so you need to clean them out after playing, right? But definitely the quickness of setup and teardown is a plus for such a huge game. The other thing is that the rules, and I've been explaining those rules right now, I've explained it to 4 groups of people, and I also explained it in my how to play video on this channel, so you can check it out, go there and check it out, how easy it is to explain these rules. They are really very user-friendly. Basically, after you explain to everyone that there are 2 types of assets and what each asset can trigger, then the whole game is basically flying off. So this is why I believe very strongly that these rules are written very well, very clearly explained, and are very well thought through for such an ambitious project as it is. So if you are doubting whether you can manage, if you are thinking of buying this game and the rules and how those boards look like is daunting in your head, don't be. Really, don't hesitate no longer, because this is a very good and very user-friendly game once you get down to it. Now, another thing is that the solo mode is brilliant and I like playing it solo. I bought the game when I'm recording this video. I've had this game for 2.5 weeks right now, and I did 6 solo playthroughs on my own, and I will be posting one of them in my video on the channel soon. So this really shows how good of a solo mode it is and how enjoyable it is for me, in my subjective opinion, with my limited amount of time I have for playing solo games right now, with the recording of those videos and my job and everything. So yeah, definitely this is going in when it comes to solo mode. The rule changes are very minuscule in comparison to the multiplayer game. The amount of options is great. Everything is very user-friendly when it comes to solo mode, which is not always the case with board games, basically, where sometimes you feel that the solo mode is just a kind of additional thing that they pasted in at the very end just to have it here. It's very well integrated in the core mechanics of the game, so if you are a solo player, that's going to be a plus as well. The next one is definitely the variety. Now, you can play this game up to 8 players, which is great, which is very cool for a big game like this. When it comes to the, you know, complexity and the heaviness of the game, 8 players is a lot to gather around the table, but each player is getting 4 sheets, as you can see, 4 dry erased sheets. 1, 2, 3, 4, navigation, industry, military, and expansion. So 4 sheets that you'll be writing on with your orange markers, and each group of sheets has 8 pieces, because maximum 8 players, but one side is symmetrical, so everybody has the same fields everywhere, and the other one is asymmetrical. So even if you are playing with 8 players, then even if you cycle through each sheet or randomly draw each sheet, then the number of combinations that you can have among those 4 sheets is quite staggering. And some of those sheets give you some better options of expanding. I'm talking about the asymmetric side in some directions. Some can give you more easier bonuses or assets in another direction. And it's up to you to notice those opportunities and utilize them well. And if you learn the game, then the sense of this kind of making it all click and come together is really satisfying, and it's really good. So the replayability factor in this game is definitely on the high end of the spectrum. And another thing that influences the replayability is that you have 24 unique races here in this deck. Those are the race cards over here, and each race has their own passive ability, sometimes even an initial setup ability that you introduce during setting up the game, and also an ability triggered by collecting a certain asset, which make your play style for every race, again, unique and different from everybody else. So even if you're playing on the symmetrical sides of the boards for easier gameplay in the beginning when you're still learning the game, those nations give you some asymmetry and some advantages in one or other area of the 4 X's that we have in this game. So the variety here is huge, really. And to top it off, with all of this variety, with all of this expansive amount of options, the nations, the 4 boards that interact with each other and everything, the gameplay is really quick. You've got 25, I believe, cards, and each card represents 1 round of the game. In some rounds you get resources that you have to distribute on the sheets. In some rounds you just do production, or you do war, or you vote on a card, and that's it. But those are quick decisions that you do pretty efficiently, and if you know where everything is on your boards, then this flow of the game is very quick. This is a heavy game that plays in, well, right now we're shaving it off till under 1 hour. The last game that we played was 45 minutes, to be honest, or 48 minutes, and I finished a solo run with a pretty decent score of 82 in less than 35 minutes, a bit more than half an hour. So it's not counting setup and teardown, obviously, but this is a quick game that is heavy enough for a lot of people to be satisfied. I've talked about the good things for quite a lot of time in this video, and you can tell from the amount of what I said and how I said it that I really enjoy the game, and I won't lie, I do. But let's talk about some of the issues that you might have with the game. Now, the first one is a completely usability one for me is that those orange markers that you are using on the board, I don't know if your versions, if you have this game, have the same problem, but with my version, those markers dry out very quickly on the boards, and erasing them with these erasers that we have on the markers is a very annoying and very difficult task. And I even bought a normal dry board eraser for those sheets, but it also doesn't work miracles here. Basically, a delicately wet paper wipe is the best option for cleaning out those sheets for replayability purposes. But that's a tiny annoyance, but it is. It is an annoyance, but it is a tiny one. But there is a bigger gripe that I have with this game. And this will be probably the only not so good thing that kind of is repeating itself through all the gameplays that we are doing in this game. And we've played a lot, and I've played a lot solo, so I can say that I know those boards pretty well by now. Now, on this expansion board on top, you have this track for monitoring what resources you get every round. And you can monitor here which ones you've already spent and which ones you haven't, so that you don't forget. You can keep track round per round, and after each round you wipe this track out and so forth and so on. And this is a great idea. Now, why, for the love of any deity or anything or anyone who you would like to add in this sentence, the designers didn't add this track or a similar track to monitor how many assets you have in this game is beyond me. Now, on every sheet here, you have some assets. These yellow, gray assets, those additional dye assets, you have basically 10 of them per sheet, sometimes or more. And you use them on different sheets at different times in the game. And even with our experience right now in this game, we sometimes still find ourselves sitting and going like, oh God, I had this blue asset over here and I could have used it like 2 rounds ago and I just forgot I have it here marked. And it's so easy to overlook one tiny asset that would change the game for you in some way. And the solution could have been so simple, like provide a track, again, on which when you mark an asset on your board, you add it to the track so that you know that you can use it, or give tokens in the box for every player so that they're in the middle of the table, and if you collect an asset, you take a token, you put it next to your board, and you remember that you have this to spend, and you can keep track easily. This is the only thing that I really strongly feel that this game is missing to be near perfect when it comes to a big roll and write game. Because sometimes really you reach the end of the game and you see that I had this planetary asset here all the time and I forgot to use it, and I could have taken this one planet on the navigation sheet thanks to this, and I could have had a relic thanks to this, or I could have gotten to Mechatol Rex easier, or at least I could have had a trade good thanks to this, and I didn't do it, and again and again and again. So really, seriously, any kind of house-ruled, house-created tracker for the assets is a gift that you can give yourself when you're playing this game, in my opinion. Apart from that, I don't really have any other qualms, barring the markers and the way that they wipe out from the boards, and to be honest, how much wiping you have on those 4 boards after a game, quite a lot, but that's, like I said, a really minuscule complaint in comparison to the assets one. So that's it. That's Twilight Inscription, in my opinion, me, Lone Vic, and this is a subjective one. I like this game a lot. If you're looking for a heavyweight game with a roll and write component, it's a roll and write focus, you like the theme of Twilight Imperium, you like space-themed games, you're looking for a 4X game that plays very quick but has a lot of interaction between those X's within a 4X game, take a look at Twilight Inscription. I feel that you might not be disappointed. And Thank you very much for watching this video. Like I said, if you want to share your own opinion or if you want to comment on everything you've heard in this video, the comment section is below. Supporting the channel through clicking the like button, ringing the notification bell, and subscribing to be notified about new videos on the channel is very helpful, and I encourage it very much. And for now, thank you very much for watching once again. My name was Lonevic. This was Twilight Inscription, the roll and write game of galactic or even intergalactic proportions from Fantasy Flight Games. And check out the how to play video for Twilight Inscription here on my channel, and soon you will be able to see how I fare in the solo mode as well. For now, thanks very much for watching, and see you soon in another of my videos here on the channel. Have a great day wherever you are, and bye bye!